Rod, if you're free, I have an extra ticket to the Warriors and Oil Kings game in Moose Jaw tonight, if you want to join me. I would love to, but I can't. To quote Sammy Seafood Sam, I'm busy.
How about that?
Where is Seafood Sam? Moved to Calgary. He's busy.
Yeah.
But thank you, Glenn.
Muna.
Big shots. Big shots.
Sitting up there with the Russian national coach at the press conference.
Guy ran a seafood restaurant in Saskatoon, okay? His name was Seafood Sam. That was the name of the restaurant. And the Saskatoon Blades would bring him down to coach the All-Star or the intra-squad game, and he'd start brawls. And
I remember hearing the story about Daryl Lubanicki. They told the guys, no more fights. And so all of a sudden there's a fight, and then they drop the puck, and then there's another fight. There's another.
He's coaching the intra-squad
One
game. Kid
had fought 3 times. So Daryl Lubanicki said, I'm going to put an end to this. And he walks around the rink, and he comes over to the kid who's had 3 fights, and he says, what in is going on around here? And the kid says, that Chinese guy keeps sending me out to beat out of that. So he had to go to this Seafood Sam, who was this little 5'2" Chinese fellow who owned their local restaurant.
Seafood Sam's.
And tell him to knock it off.
No more fights.
How about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
And we were on the road with the Rough Riders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the mini box. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't fun.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it is. Hello. Thank you so much, Rick Regan. And that was in the Westin in Edmonton, the Westin Edmonton elevator. I will never forget it. He was steaming. I may see Joe Womack this weekend. Hello, everybody. Welcome on up. Get on up inside your favorite daytime sports talk show. Get up. That's us. Wake up. We've been waiting all day for this show. It's our last show. How about this? Of 2023. And it's not a countdown show today, but I can guarantee you that we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun. Joining us on the program today, Jim Barker, RP Show football analyst, and Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation. Darren Moose DuPont is with us. He is in a moving vehicle. As you can see, I'm in South Florida for now. The second this show's over, we're hitting the highway, and I'll tell you later for where. But Moose, do you want to tell our audience what's up with you today and your whereabouts? You're like, where's Waldo today? But it's, where's Moose?
I know, trying to, accommodate everybody and, get the plans in and make sure we get on the show and have fun today. But I'm on Highway 11, just north of Regina, and going to be stopping in to visit the kids and my sister this afternoon. So looking forward to that.
Okay, cool. So the director, Jordan, isn't left hanging. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Jordan? And then we will get down. Because it's Christmassy, I'm feeling Christmassy, obviously. And just to check, even though you're traveling, you're going to be with us for this segment and then the first 2 segments of next hour, right?
You got it.
Yeah, and he's frozen up already. Yeah, he's frozen. Yeah, perfect. Nice. He's playing around with his settings. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to ask the audience, can you please do me this favor? Here in this opening segment, tell me what your favorite Christmas carol is and what your favorite Christmas movie is. Write it in. Sober Carpenter text line works as well, 902-518-3033. Your favorite Christmas carol and your favorite movie. You can start answering now, and at the end of the show, Darren and I will give ours. That's number 1, and we're going to get into the quick 6 show topics here right away. I just wanted Jordan to hit the horn. I opened up the text line in a couple of the messages that were holdovers from yesterday. Number one, Alex from the Game Plus control room in Toronto. Alex writes in and says, Rod, which Week 16 games are you watching the closest for playoff implications this weekend? I think tonight might be the biggest. And he was talking about the Saints and the Rams, which the Rams won last night. What was the final? 30-22. But let's just push that to next hour where we'll play Week 16 Deal or No Deal for our friends at Bet Regal. But I'll tell you right off the snide, we got 2 Super Bowl preview potential games. Sunday, Dallas at Miami here in South Florida. And then Baltimore and San Francisco. Before we go any further, do you think those could you see the Super Bowl being either one of those games, Moose?
Absolutely, and I would lean right now to Baltimore and San Francisco. I think those are the 2 best teams in each respective conference today. So that's going to be two great games, but that one in particular.
Yeah, I think so because I agree with you. Because Dallas and Miami they seem too Hollywood. They seem too Baltimore and San Francisco have been in the Super Bowls in our memory. You know what I mean? Those are 2 more rugged teams. I could see that. So those are 2 games right there. And Ted in Edmonton, as I flip open the text line, he writes, Rod, the Oil will make the playoffs and win it all. Signed Ted in Edmonton. It's like, says you today. Such is life with Oiler fans. Which, by the way, Jordan, you want to hit the horn again, Jordan? Do you mind, please? We don't have a lot of time. Now, actually down to business because we don't have Darren for a lot of time in this segment. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Adam Ern scored in a span of 69 seconds early in the third period as the Edmonton Oilers snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 6-3 win over the Devils. The Oilers fan that I live with, she thought the Oilers were going to blow it. They didn't. They had the pop, 3 quick goals in the third, and they won. Kirill Kaprizov scored with 4.9 seconds to go in overtime, lifted the Minnesota Wild over the Montreal Canadiens 4-3. Matt Duchene scored with 9.2 seconds left in overtime to give the Dallas Stars a 4-3 win over the Vancouver Canucks. Nathan McKinnon scored 4 goals to extend his career-best point streak to 17. Colorado spanked Ottawa 6-4. Elias Lindholm had a goal and 2 assists as the Calgary Flames extended their winning streak to a season-best 3 games. Got a 3-0 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. And in Columbus, Alex Ovechkin scored his first goal in 15 games with 53 seconds left on the clock in overtime to lift the Washington Capitals to a 3-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know why I don't have it here, but we all know what happened. What was the final? Buffalo and Toronto? Was it 9-4?
9-3.
9-4?
Yeah.
9-3? Okay. I mean, I can call it up, but we all know the details. Those of us that aren't Leafs fans are laughing about it right now. While I find the summary, and I don't know why I didn't put it in there, do you want to explain the Leafs? Or are you sick of them and don't want to? Or where are you on that? 9-3, Buffalo beat the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, we talked about this week. You don't know which team is going to show up on a nightly basis. Now, for the most part, pretty consistently good. Talked about best record in the National Hockey League since the beginning, early part of November. But then this happens, and that's the issue. The consistency isn't there. I understand losing a game here and there in overtime or late in a game, but to get blown out in a game like that, I think it was Sheldon Keefe called it embarrassing. That's probably a good way to sum it up. I mean, Matthews kept going. That was the one bright spot, but not a good night for Toronto.
Jenna has showed up from Southern California to rub it in. She's the biggest Sabres fan we know. Hi, Jenna. I see you, Jenna.
No.
Thank you for pointing that out. And I'll say it again. Check the receipts. Everybody likes to point out where I've been wrong with my bold proclamation, so I'll point one where I've been right. Not only do you not know what the Leafs are going to give you every night, but here's another one you can write it down. Good teams don't get blown out. And when I said that about the Rough Riders in the fall, everybody got upset, the Rider fans that just can't see anything other than the green goggles. And they're like, no, well, what about this team? What about that? We're not talking about other teams, okay? Look in the mirror. Good teams don't get blown out. The Toronto Maple Leafs are, maybe they're a good team, I guess, right? Because all the Leaf fans got mad with what I said the other day. They're not a contending team. Take that to the bank. So with check the receipts, I'm going to start pointing out where my proclamations are right because nobody else is going to. Okay, moving on. We can pick this up later. Point two, Byram Brown threw 3 touchdown passes and became the second University of South Florida quarterback with 4,000 total yards in a season, leading the USF Bulls to a 45-0 rout of undermanned Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl Thursday night. And the reason I point this out, Darren, I mean, I was there. We previewed the game yesterday. Listen to this. You guys, unfortunately, didn't get to see it in Canada. Syracuse struggled at quarterback, with starter Garrett Schrader missing the game because of a shoulder injury. This is what the Orange did at quarterback. They started tight end Dan Villari. Tight end Dan Villari started at quarterback for them. Backup quarterback Braden Davis and running back LeQuint Allen Jr. also shared snaps. And it was a disaster. It was 31-0 at halftime. You, I'm hoping, saw my social media, Darren. I was around the game, the Boca Bowl. You can see why this college is so special, and the NFL is the same. I wish they did it in the CFL. Did you see the 5 buses in my video that brought South Florida to the stadium at FAU? And 6 police vehicles, 3 in the front, 3 in the back, sirens wailing, lights going. I mean, honestly, man, if you were one of those players, would you not be fired up and you know you're going somewhere special to play in a damn special game? We got a police escort. That's it. Did that not fire you up watching that?
Man, that was awesome. It's so cool seeing it. It just shows how big deal it is. But the question I got, 5 buses, the motorcade, the whole deal, and not one of those buses was carrying a quarterback?
Well, that was South Florida's buses. I'm sure Syracuse, I can't speak for them. Yeah. But just, again, I was counting this up the other day. 20 seasons with the Rough Riders, that meant 10 road trips per season. That's 200 road trips I made with Canada's team, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, and we never one time had a police escort. In the WHL, as a broadcaster, I needed a police escort into town and out of town, but that's another story. So, 45-0, South Florida won the game. I understand. You couldn't watch it in Canada, so people aren't as excited about it as me. But I had friends on that team. They had a big party. Here's one for you. Each quarter took an hour to play. Just so get used to that, folks. These bowl games this time of year, I don't know why it is. Because it was on ESPN, and that's another thing. I don't know if I've been at games, well, Stanley Cup final, I guess, where the big ESPN crew's there, but Tom Rinaldi was there on the sidelines. I was like, ooh. And the people that I listen to every morning, Michelle Smallman and Evan Cohen on ESPN Radio, they were there. They were flown in from New York for the game. It's just, I hope I don't ever get used to that, because it's pretty damn cool. And I also want to say this. So this flip for let's just nerd out for a second, Darren, you and I on the play-by-play, okay? For decades, even longer, when I did junior football before CFL, I had a depth chart like this to call the games by position, right? O-line here, receivers out here, flip it over for the defense. I inherited that from Jeff Courier, the guy that I did the games before me. But I kind of sit back and look at this long. There's how many players there are. Is there enough gold in the planet Earth for the rings that they're going to make for USF? It's like 1,000 rings they're going to have to make. I think I should have just called it numerically like this. And I'd seen guys come in and call football games like that, and they were laughed at by the guys that had this. And I think I should have been this all along. What do you like to use to call games?
You know, I write it out by hand. I know a lot of guys do it on the computer and send it to the printer. I write it out with the depths by hand, but I'm with you. I like to have, I like to have a numerical roster there for sure, but then I write it out. And to be honest, it was always a thing for me. Write it out by hand. I kind of remember the names and numbers and positions, so that I almost never have to look at the sheet. Sure. But I like to have it there in position for sure.
That's a lot of rings, almost 100 names here for the South Florida Bulls, including Matt DeBuck's kid, Trey, who in his freshman year wins a bowl game. Like, how about that? Kid, there's a winner all the way, as John Frenzy would say. Okay, some NFL stuff. Hour 2, we're going to talk about who's our primed CFL free agent prospects and targets, but not here. Thursday Night Football, Matthew Stafford passed for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Los Angeles Rams surged forward in the NFC playoff race with a 30-22 victory over the New Orleans Saints. You like this guy, rookie Puka Nacua, had 9 catches for a career-high 164 yards and a touchdown. The Saints' loss means New Orleans' 2-game win streak is over. The Falcons have lost a couple in a row. It's like, I feel like nobody wants the NFC South, but Tampa Bay does. They take a 3-game winning streak into their game. So I can't wait to play Deal or No Deal coming up next hour. It's the Buccaneers and the Jaguars in the Battle of Florida. I mean, Week 16, I selfishly pointed out what the games are that I'm looking forward to the most. Ravens, 49ers, and Cowboys, Dolphins. And specifically this one here in South Florida. But how about you? Maybe there's some I've overlooked. Did we lose them?
Last night's game being... Maybe I'm out.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'm back. Okay. Well, last night's game was really intriguing because, you know, I'm starting to buy more and more stock in the Rams. And heading into the playoffs, they're a team that has weapons, and as they're getting healthier, I think they can surprise somebody. They haven't been in the conversation as being one of the top teams all year, but Stafford was hurt for a while. So I think there's some intrigue there, and I'm quietly, for different reasons, in the Titans and Seahawks on the 24th in the afternoon. The Seahawks are a team that, you know, trying to get into the playoffs and see where they're at. Big win with Drew Lock at quarterback. And Tennessee, they're kind of looking towards the future, so I'm curious to see what young players step up.
Okay, from the text line 902-518-3033, I asked people, what's your favorite Christmas carol and movie? From Perry, Shockey, and Lethbridge, Grandma got run over by a reindeer by the Irish Rovers. And by the way, Shocks, if your grandma got run over by a reindeer, you may be entitled to compensation.
How about
Contact
that?
the law firm of DuPont, Pedersen, and Sons to see if you're eligible. Jim in Balgoni says, favorite song, Silent Night. Movie, Christmas Vacation. He says, have a great time, Christmas time, RP family. I'll get to the rest of the comments and stuff in a moment, but I wanted to read this. Where did it go? Our poll question today for our friends at Key Auto Group. It's been on my mind for almost a week. And at Key Auto Group, they're driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. Can you please settle a tie, everybody? The Key Auto Group daily poll question is this. What's the biggest NFL story of 2023? Is it what I think, Tom Brady retiring, the correct answer, or is it what Moose thinks, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce dating? How could that top Tom? And you're supposed to be a Tom fan. But you know what, Darren? Our viewers will settle the tie. Do we have a body of work, Clark, yet to settle that out? What are they saying out there on the streets? Of course, 63% are right. They're saying it's Tom Brady's retirement. Okay, Moose, I'll see you next hour. Drive safely.
See you then.
All right. Jim Barker joins us coming up after this break. Justin Duncan, Hour 2. It's a Football Friday, and we are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Doesn't that just scream Christmas? Happy holidays. Asking the audience what's your favorite Christmas carol and Christmas movie. Allie in Texarkana says her favorite Christmas carol is "O Come All Ye Faithful." Favorite Christmas movie, Blue Christmas. Randy from Winnipeg says Silent Night and The Little Drummer Boy, his two favorite Christmas carols. And we'll get this around to football in a second. But because this is our last show before Christmas and our last show of 2023, let's bring in our football analyst, Jim Barker. And before we jump to the gridiron talk, Jim, do you have a favorite Christmas movie and or Christmas carol that comes to mind?
You know what? I'm very old school. That 34th Street with Santa Claus, it's an old black and white movie. Absolute favorite. Yep. Christmas Carol. I don't know. I think The Silent Night is a good call. That's always a good one. Deck the
you can't go wrong.
Deck the halls with
boughs of holly. Exactly. Yes. And Miracle on 34th Street. There you go.
Miracle. You'll
never forget that. Yeah, Miracle on I already forgot the street number. Anyways, so from 34th, yeah. So from Alex in our control room in Toronto, the television station and network that's anchoring our show, Alex runs the controls there. He said, what are the big Week 16 games, the biggest games in our minds with playoff implications in the National Football League? Your thoughts on that one?
Well, obviously the last game on Christmas night, the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers is kind of I think it could be a Super Bowl preview. I think Baltimore has, moved its way forward, and San Francisco, obviously Philadelphia is having all kinds of problems. So I think that's a great game. I think Cowboys and Dolphins is another one that, is great. There's one of the problems not problems, but one of the things happening this week is I think you've got the hangers on and the guy want to hang on, like the Bengals and Steelers tomorrow. That's a classic. Boy, the Bengals want to hang on. Can they do it with Mitch Browning or Jake Browning? And
Jake,
Yeah, Jake Browning. And the Steelers, they're going to start Mason Rudolph tomorrow, the 58th quarterback to start an NFL game. Just, it's craziness. So, there's a lot of games like that where one of the teams is going to lose their dream and other teams are going to hang on to that thread of hope of getting in the playoffs.
Just there's something interesting about every game, and as you say, and all football people, there's no such thing as a meaningless game. You want to take a swing at New England and Bill Belichick, and now this crazy rumor is going to end up with the Chargers. You're taking where the Patriots are, and what's next for Bill Belichick, if you don't mind.
Well, honestly, I just think it's hard to believe Bill Belichick not being with the Patriots and that Robert Kraft pulls the trigger this fast. I just don't see that. I mean, this is the first really bad year. Last year was not great, but wasn't horrible. And they've gone through the Tom Brady transition. And are they any closer at quarterback? No, but there's a lot of teams not. And when you don't draft high, you're eventually going to hit something like this. I just see him being back there. I thought the pickup of Nathan Rourke was interesting on other fronts. It doesn't have really to do with Bill Belichick, but I thought that was an interesting that he was made available. In terms of the Chargers and some of the jobs open, for Belichick, he's been an Eastern guy forever. I mean, he's been in New York. His dad coached at Navy. He's never been to the West Coast. I just have a feeling that would be a tough transition for him. I see Jim Harbaugh more with the Raiders. I just think that's just more of a fit to me where he can go in. And I thought it was interesting, the Chargers, and we talked about it last week when it happened. I was on your show when it broke. Firing Tedesco also at that time, which I think opens the doors to guys like Harbaugh and Pep Belichick that are going to want maybe to have the say in who the GM is and not, so I think they did that for that reason, because there are a couple guys that, they're not going to go work for any GM. And so I think it's interesting. That to me was an interesting firing. It was that they not only fired Brandon Staley, but they also fired Tom Tedesco. And I think that's why do they want to be involved in Belichick? Do they want to be involved in Harbaugh? I just, for whatever reason, just see Harbaugh going to the Raiders. That just makes sense to me. I don't know why. It just does.
Well, while we're there, the Raiders are at KC. The Chiefs are favored by 10, and I know you guys don't care about the point spread. I'm just saying that's what it is at Bet Regal. So much happens between our chats, Yeah. Patrick Mahomes fined $50,000. Andy Reid fined $100,000 for comments about the officiating and the Kadarius Toney offside. Any take on them being fined, A, and B, how big of a slaughter do you think this will be? I saw a stat that the Chiefs have beaten the Raiders by 20 points or more like 9 times since Patrick Mahomes has been there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the Chiefs and in this game?
Watching the Chiefs, I see a team that's a bit in desperation. They just seem like they're in a place they haven't been. Since Patrick Mahomes has been there, they've never been in this position. They've never been in a place where they're struggling offensively. I think a big part of it is, you can only lose so many receivers, and they've lost so many over the last couple of years. And, the Toney thing was, bottom line is the guy was offsides. Did it make an effect on the play? No. If the referee had it to call back, he's not going to say this publicly, but he would probably say, God, I wish I wouldn't have called it. But you know what? That's life in football. And to take the kind of fines they've taken over that, I think that Patrick Mahomes regretted the things he said after he said it on Kadarius Toney. So I think the Chiefs I think they'll come out and play really well. The Raiders obviously, are a team that's on the struggle, and they're playing Aiden McConnell, and who knows what Aiden McConnell's going to be. He's one of 58 guys who started an NFL game this year. And is he going to be their future, or what's, it's, so again, I see it as betting wise, I would hate laying 10 points, but I would hate more taking a garbage team like the Raiders against what I think could be a really good team in the Chiefs if they can get that receiving core together. I really believe defensively they're playing well. I think Spagnuolo's got them. They're coming off the ball. Their defensive front is solid. Teams are not running the ball up and down the field on them. They're giving up some big plays. But when your offense is as bad as what Kansas City's has been, it's hard to win. And I think they haven't had that in the past. And I just see a team in frustration with that game. It's just not a, I don't know, it's just not a comfortable feeling, which means there's going to come a time they're going to break out. If they don't, they're going to be gone early in the playoffs.
You said something earlier about Nathan Rourke going to New England was interesting. What in your mind was interesting about that scenario?
Okay. And I've been in front offices in professional football, and we've got 3 weeks to play in the season. And they have two quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, who had a high ankle sprain, which who knows the severity of that. They have CJ Beathard with a wonky shoulder. And how they would allow, if they had any feeling that Nathan Rourke could win for them. Obviously, they sat in there and they said, okay, if we let Nathan, if we put him down to the practice roster, we could lose him. If we lose him, what's our alternative? Well, our alternative is EJ Perry, who was here all last year. Nobody's picked him up. What's the difference between EJ Perry and Nathan Rourke? Well, they obviously said not that great. I just don't think at this time, with the amount of money in the NFL, I don't think you go through that risk. The amount of money to keep a third-team quarterback on the roster, even if he doesn't dress, but on the roster as the third-team quarterback, over half the teams in the NFL are doing it, is not that great with 3 games to go, that you risk having happened what happened. And the word is that if New England wouldn't have taken him, he got taken like 15, 20 minutes before the deadline, that Houston was going to take him. And Houston ends up, signing, another one of those old guys. I can't even think of his name now. But so anyway, it's one of those things. I felt from Jacksonville's standpoint that they either totally don't believe in Nathan Rourke, and because you're at the time of year now, you're not going to. EJ Perry was there all last year, but he didn't go through this year's things, but he at least knows our terminology. That if I was interested more from the Jacksonville standpoint, because if you think you're going to get him through and hoping for that, when you're going to the playoffs and you have 2 wonky quarterbacks, that's grounds to be fired. It's just a terrible move. Now, if they believe EJ Perry is close to what Nathan Rourke is for their football team, then that's their argument. We think EJ Perry's, as good, and that we don't lose that much with, if we lose Nathan. Again, when you're talking about quarterback and you're talking about 3 weeks to go in the season, and you're talking about a team going to the playoffs, I just think that's really, really risky. You have a guy who scored on 4 out of 5 times in the preseason, and regardless, unless he's a guy that's not liked in the locker room or things along those lines, which who knows that? Nobody knows that. I just found it really interesting from the Jacksonville point of view, not from the New England point of view. They lost, their guy went to the Chargers, their third-team quarterback went to the Chargers, and obviously they've fallen out of love with Mac Jones, and Bradley Zapp or Riley, or whatever his name is, Zappi.
Bailey
Zappi. I knew it was a weird one. Whatever Bailey Zappi is to them, who knows? Nathan Rourke, again, he's got to learn a whole new offense in a matter of weeks. Are they going to be able to evaluate that? They're going to have a high draft pick, which obviously they'll probably use. They don't get very often, probably use on a quarterback. So from the New England standpoint, it was shocking to me from the Jacksonville standpoint that with this much time to go in the year and you got 2 quarterbacks both nicked up, that you would take the risk. I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, we didn't think anybody would take him because there's only 3 weeks left. Crazy. Now the interesting question.
But they waived him twice.
Now the interesting question, Rod.
I'm sorry, they waived him twice before and he wasn't claimed. Yeah, what's the interesting question now?
Yeah, to me, the interesting question is, so he signs a 1-year deal with New England. When does he become free? And does he have the right to make a decision in February? Is it better for me to go make $600,000 in Canada and play and do what Doug Flutie did, which is go back and play and win a couple Grey Cups if he can't show that he is the best quarterback up here, will that help his chances more, or is being in that grinder down there and going from practice roster to on the roster and things like that, is that where he wants to be? Does he have that option? Again, I don't know the rules on what the NFL is now in terms of because he will end the season under contract with the Patriots because they have to hold him through the season. So I'm sure that he'll be under contract with them at least until the Super Bowl. I don't know how long after that it happens. So again, that could throw some interest into the CFL free agency situation because he would be free to go to any team. He doesn't have to go back to BC. Remember, he's from Oakville. And there's a team in Hamilton that would be glad to open up their pocketbooks, I'm sure. I think Ottawa would be glad to open up their pocketbook and say, Nathan, why don't you come play here for a couple of years? We'll win a couple Grey Cups. And then you'll be 27 years old and you'll be a seasoned guy when you go to the NFL. They'll give you more of a Flutie kind of contract, not a rookie kind of contract. Kind of interesting.
Well, I was going to ask you what did you want to talk about at the end, and I didn't have to ask you. You went to it. Rourke to the CFL. So what do you think he's going to do? I've interviewed the young man a couple times, but I don't know him well enough to say if he'd be interested to come back to the CFL or not. What do you think he'll do?
I have no idea. I have no idea. A lot of it depends on what the NFL thinks of him. And like I say, this move of letting him go 3 weeks to go in the season doesn't speak well to me. If I'm a GM in that situation, and I think I got a guy that I think has a chance to really be a player, and we're getting ready for the playoffs, and my two guys there's no way I'm even taking that chance. It's just not worth. He's not going to make enough money that it's going to be worth. Wow, we can save, however much it was they saved, a couple $100,000 they would save by putting him on the PR. So again, I don't know the thinking there. I don't know what it is. And I think that all goes into Nathan's situation. I have no idea of what he'll be thinking. I know this month is the month CFL teams sit down and you try to come up with values for players. Well, if you don't think that Dane Evans and Drew Brown and Matthew Schultz and the quarterbacks that are free agents, if you don't think their value is influenced by Nathan Rourke and what he's going to do, McLeod Bethel Thompson, what's he going to do? Those things all factor into, we talk about free agency and what is a player worth. A player's worth to one team, I never question when they pay a guy $250,000 or Edmonton pays a receiver $300,000. I never question it because to their team, obviously that's important. And they feel like they'll pay him whatever they have to pay him. Every team has their own philosophies. They're not the same as my philosophy or anybody. There's no two philosophies exactly the same. So that's what's interesting about now is establishing player value.
Yeah. What's the value of a house? It's what somebody's willing to pay for it, right? Market value. Hey, Jim, thank you so much for all you've done in 2023. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time, but Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Great.
And appreciate all you do for us.
Enjoy Florida.
Thank you, sir.
It's cold up here.
RP Show That's what I hear. Oh, I miss it. RP Show football analyst Jim Barker joining us on a Football Friday. It's all viewer takeover the rest of the way. Football, hockey, anything else. Your favorite Christmas movie, Christmas Carol, whatever you want. Until Moose joins us at the top of the hour and we get back on the football train. Choo-choo. We'll be right back on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Football Friday continues, and hey, listen, I'm a man of my word. I said just you and me until the top of the hour. You probably think that's a long time, and in television terms, it ain't. Or maybe it is. I can't remember. To me, it's not. It's not a long time in the broadcast world, not for me. So I'm just going to check the viewer comments. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us on the Sober Carpenter text line, by the way. Ask for it by name at your favorite beer, wine, and spirit store. It's also available online and in grocery stores. Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. You want to have a beer but have no hangover or regrets or alcohol this Christmas? It's not too late to pick it up. I was asking the audience, what's your favorite Christmas movie and your favorite Christmas carol? Why not, right? It's our last show before Christmas, and in fact, it's our last live show of 2023. BW from Edmonton writes in and says, 6 White Boomers. Is that not by Rolf? Not our tech guy. Clark, do you guys know the guy's name, Rolf, the singer? Oh, Rolf. Oh, no. Why can't I remember his last name? 6 White Boomers, Snow White Bloomer. Rolf. I didn't ask for that. What's the guy? Rolf? The only other Rolf that I know. Rolf Harris. There you go. I think that's the one. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jordan. Thank you, Google. Jordan, who I believe is in Calgary, Jordan S. writes in. He says, I like Home Alone and Alf. Dawn, our Navy friend, writes in and says, favorite movie, Christmas Story. And you know what? I don't really get the attraction to that, but that's Serena's favorite Christmas movie, and she watches it over and over and over. I'll tell you, 3-4 times she'll watch it on Christmas Day. But that's also her birthday, so I let her do whatever she wants. But if I may chime in, it is the Rod Pedersen Show. My favorite Christmas carol, I was thinking about this, and I honestly don't remember the name of the song. But it's the one that goes dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da da da. Do you know that one, Clark? Do you know the name of it, you guys? I mean, I guess it can't really qualify as my favorite if I don't know the name to it. Dun da 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 dun da da da. So, in the absence of that, I'll go with the Old Faithful. Merry Christmas Straight to You by the King of Country Music, George Strait. Merry Christmas Straight to You is my favorite Christmas carol. That's easy. Hey, look who showed up, John Ohm. He said it again. We got you the other day, John. John Ohm. Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie. Is that a Christmas movie? To be perfectly fair, I want to say Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but has been declared via a ruling that's a Thanksgiving movie. Who knew? That's a U.S. Thanksgiving movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, Carol of the Bells is what you're thinking of, Rod. Thank you. I'll try to remember that. I'll think of a name. The other day at the beach house up there in Pompano Beach, Serena and I met a server named Brandon, and he was going to help us out with setting up our gear, specifically the password for the private Wi-Fi code there. His name was Brandon. And I turned to Serena and I said, he's the Wheat King. He's the Wheat King. That's how we'll remember his name, Brandon Wheat King. And he was like, well, at least I'm the king of something.
Hell yes.
Right? Apparently, they never got over in Brandon me referring to them as the Brandon Wheat Queens. Navy Dawn. Oh, yeah, you said favorite Christmas story, and then I went off on a tangent. He says his favorite song is Jingle Bells. Why not, right? Any specific Jingle Bells? Like Sinatra's, Bing Crosby's? Let me do a sports update and get serious for a second, then we'll jump back on whatever this is. The Winnipeg Jets can move back into first place in the NHL Central Division with a win over the Atlantic-leading Boston Bruins tonight in Winnipeg. Jets trail Dallas and Colorado by 1 point in the division standings. The Stars and Avalanche are both idle tonight. The Edmonton Oilers finish off their tour of the New York area tonight with a game against the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. The Oilers down the New Jersey Devils 6-3 Thursday night to end a 3-game slide that included a defeat to the Islanders on Tuesday. After tonight, the Oilers head west for 3 games in California. The Montreal Canadiens look for their 3rd win in 4 games when they visit the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Montreal has struggled to score this year, but that could change against the Blackhawks team, allowing an average of 3.5 goals per game. Wouldn't that be something if they gave up half a goal tonight? Chicago is coming off a 3-2 win over Colorado on Tuesday that ended a 4-game slide. The Toronto Raptors. Are we calling them the Craptors yet, like we used to? The Toronto Raptors are in Philadelphia to take on the 76ers in NBA play tonight. Raps coming off a split of a 4-game homestand that ended with a loss to defending champion Denver on Wednesday. The 76ers have won 7 of their last 8. And who's their coach again? Oh, yeah, Nick Nurse. Sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company. Merry Christmas from Common Crown, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. You'll find them on 28th Street Northeast in Calgary, just down the street, literally from Overtime Hockey Lanes. And also by Landmark Cinemas in movie theaters now. Landmark Cinemas, Silent Night from legendary director John Woo and the producer of John Wick. Silent Night redefines the action genre with visceral, thrill-a-minute storytelling. More viewer takeover when we come back. You can tell me what your favorite movie is, Christmas movie. I'd like that. Your favorite Christmas carol, or a sports topic, too, because we're supposed to be sports talk. But it is a special Christmas edition today of the RP Show. And we'll be back 902-518-3033. Thanks for the reminder, fellas. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television. On the radio in Atlanta, WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk. 99.1 FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Great to be with you today, and I'm going to tell you in this business, it's great to be anywhere. Right, guys? We did the sports update, so I'm just going to sit here on a viewer takeover and read comments from the audience, because I could do that all day. And it's Christmas, and I'm feeling charitable and in the gift-giving mood. Asking what's your favorite movie, Christmas movie, and Christmas Carol. Kirk in Toronto writes in, he says, favorite movie, Black Christmas on the Dark Side. I'm not familiar with that one. Are you, boys? I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, no.
I apologize. He asked me to ask Jim Barker about Chris Strevler on a return to the CFL, and I missed it. My bad. We'll do it the next time Jim's on. Wayne in Victoria, BC, home of Touchdown Pacific, next Labor Day weekend, writes in. He says, hi, Rod. My favorite Christmas song is Holly Jolly Christmas by Burl Ives. It's amazing how an old actor, could have a decent voice. Yeah, you ever heard of John Frenzy? His voice is as strong at 85 as it was at 25.
Hot damn.
He's a winner all the way. Twisted Mike in the Queen City writes in, and he says, favorite Christmas movie, Christmas Vacation. Eddie. Absolutely.
Bingo.
Probably better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It would win every poll, I think. From Brian in Beausejour, Manitoba. He says, Little Drummer Boy and Home Alone are my favorites. And he says, season's greetings. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, RP and Serena Dawn. DD and Leanne, the RP crew making it all happen in the background. Oh, he was paying attention. He says, have a safe journey to NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, and back, Rod and Serena. He says, one last thing. What fills Serena with more angst? A flight on a silver bird or the Oilers possibly missing the playoffs? I've never seen her break out in a cold sweat when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers, so I would say it's probably having a flight. And did I say that's why we're doing this? I'm very excited. The second we get off the air today, we're jumping in the vehicle and driving to New Orleans and going as far as we can, thinking either Gainesville tonight or Tallahassee. Don't know. We did it last year. We drove but a different way. We went to a different direction. We ended up in Richmond, Virginia, but we drove through Georgia, went through South Carolina, and stayed overnight in Darian Duran's hometown, Florence, South Carolina. And then drove up through North Carolina to Virginia. It was awesome. This trip's going to be, as I just said, to Gainesville or Tallahassee tonight. Keep on trucking through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. And going to stop and see friends along the way. And but we'll see. That hasn't all been confirmed. You know football people. I'm going to be honest. They're different than hockey people. It's just the way that it is. Fongo, if you're watching right now, you'll know and you'll agree. They're just different. Not better or worse, just different. I've texted football guys going back a month saying I'm going to be coming through, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. Text them now. No answer. Other guys, I don't know if they've changed their numbers, man. The hockey guys, yep, let's do it. You got a time, you got a date, and they show up early. Just the way that they are. I don't know what it is. Oh, the great poll question today is, what's the bigger news story of 2023 for Key Auto Group in the NFL? What's the biggest story in the NFL for Key Auto Group? Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, or Tom Brady retiring? Darren writing in from Saskatoon, he says, I voted Kelce Swift is the biggest NFL story because I want it to be evil. Mwah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Did I tweet it? I thought, oh, yeah, here it is. I didn't pin it. There's, oh, my God. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, 58% on Twitter. 58% are wrong. 58%, there's something wrong with them. It's going to be a fun hour, too. I predict it. NFL Deal or No Deal coming up, our top CFL free agents, and whatever you would like to talk about after this brief pause on Game Plus and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Then we were on the road with the Rough Riders. Joe Womack was our strength coach, and he was rooming with Ron Estee. I'm coming down the elevator with Joe Womack, and he is so mad. And I'm like, what's wrong, Joe? And he goes, you wouldn't believe what Estee did. He's in his underwear, and he emptied the minibar. Smarties and the Kit Kats, thinking it's free, thinking it was a gift basket. And Joe looks at me, it ain't funny.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
I remember it like it was yesterday, I'm telling you. Oh, man, where's the time go? Welcome to the final hour live of the RP Show of 2023, everybody. It's a Football Friday. It's just been fantastic. We've mixed in a little hockey for the hockey fans because it is the holiday season, but it's still football season. And as you see, I'm in South Florida for now, for another hour. And then we're hitting the road. Moose joining us from the Queen City. I assume you've reached your destination safely. Oh, you're still in a vehicle. What's going on, Moose? What are you doing for the rest of the day once you're done this?
Yeah, I'm in the Queen City. I'm alone now. This was just the quietest, stable spot to do it. So we got a little bit of running around to do this afternoon, and then hitting the road again tomorrow. So lots of driving, lots of visiting. It's going to be fun.
This wouldn't surprise anybody, but vehicles make a wonderful studio for broadcasting.
They do.
As you've found out. Yeah. But you clearly don't need the keys to my bus, because I offered it to you. If you needed a vehicle to get around the Queen City in Saskatchewan this holiday, you could have had my bus. And you know, though, I think you've driven it before. My bus is
Absolutely.
there. Are you going to need it? Are you going to need it?
Well, I don't think so. I thought we would, but, we've got family in Regina, family in Saskatoon, and the cheaper flight got us into Saskatoon, more convenient. And so we've got, let's call it the in-laws whip for a couple of days. So we're good.
Okay. Well, I'll be happy to loan it to you. I'd be happy to have that thing spin around the city a couple times, get the juices flowing in the bus. But yeah,
Joints
it of course has
loosened
been
up.
used for shuttle services for CFL games to the Rocky Mountains. It's a fantastic shuttle that I own and have not driven for some time. Okay, Moose, it's hour 2. We're having fun. We always do, but more fun today. I'm asking the audience what their favorite movie is and Christmas Carol. Favorite Christmas movie, Christmas Carol. Bill Edwards, the guy that sent me the Ron and Don bobblehead, they're not with me today because they're on our Cats and Bolts podcast set, the show that we do on the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I still have them, Bill, don't worry. He says the movie Scrooge. And that's the one with Bill Murray, right? Or is that Scrooged?
Good question.
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
He's in one of them.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he's in one of them. And he says his favorite song is Baby, It's Cold Outside. I don't even know that one, but I know I got somebody in a heck of a lot of trouble here a couple years ago. Dale in Winnipeg writes in, and he says, Merry Christmas to all and your best wishes for 2024. Great year, RP show and crew. Thanks a lot. From Dale and Jack in Winnipeg. The Jets home tonight to Boston, trying to reclaim first place in the Central Division. I'll say this. I've been sitting here thinking a lot, Darren, about the people that get excited about a division lead in whatever league you're in, NHL, NFL, CFL. And I kind of get it. Obviously, I've been with teams for a long time. It's nice to be in first place for a while. I get the feeling. But it's like with us. And guys, you know it. Game Plus Television in Toronto. We're the #1 talk show on Game Plus. I just expect that. So when the ratings come out and you get it, I'm like, that's nice. But you don't ever see me popping champagne corks. And my radio show that I used to do before this, we were always #1. You know this, Darren. For years. We were unchallenged. We were #1. They're not anymore, but I digress. I just expect it. So do you see why I don't really understand why people just get so geeked up about being in first place for a week or two when you're not even at the halfway mark of the season? I know I hammer away on it. I guess it feels good, but I really don't get the mentality. I just don't. Are you on the track with me or not?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, you want to be in first place at the end of the year. And when you're raising a banner and hoisting a championship, I mean, it is nice, and it is a reason for fans to get excited because you want to continue to believe that your team is good. Because being in first place, a heck of a lot better than being in 10th or near the bottom. But you have to temper the expectations and understand, okay, it's great to be in first place now, but we're not better than anybody else until the playoffs come. Look at Boston last year. You know, first place, record-setting season, boom, out in the first round. So it can happen. So it's important not to over-celebrate early.
You better, not you, NHL teams better really start taking the Boston Bruins for real if you're not. And that's another thing where we can end the year on some serious life tips. That kick in the junk that the Boston Bruins took last year, that's something that you don't ever forget, obviously. Here in Florida, they talk about the Panthers and the fans and the team about it was the greatest upset in NHL Stanley Cup playoff history. It was. But if you look at it from Boston's perspective, it was the biggest choke job in Stanley Cup playoff history. That's embarrassing, and that leaves scars that you need to learn from. And I feel like that motivates Boston every single day they get out of bed, every morning. Like, that should be a hell of a game tonight in Winnipeg. The Jets and the Boston Bruins. And you're not hearing anything about Boston, right? It's almost like people are like, you blew it last year. You're going to blow it again. I mean, I don't get the coverage here that you do in Canada, but I just don't hear any hype or talk about the Boston Bruins at all. And they're probably fine with that because last year it was all about chasing the NHL regular season record, and they got it, and then crap the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what it was. And you're right. It's almost like, you know, the Bruins, it's like, okay, well, we talked about them last year. They did it, and they didn't go on to do anything in the playoffs. And they're kind of weirdly going under the radar. So tonight's a great litmus test for Winnipeg to see where they stack up against one of the league's best. And I think you're right. I think Boston enjoys it that way. Just, hey, don't talk about us. Don't worry about it. We're fine just winning games. We'll see it come playoff time.
That's the point of why the Leafs, I'm starting to understand it now, why the Leafs and the media pressure and the expectations actually does hurt the team. And it hurts the Yankees, although it doesn't really explain their, 28 World Series. It doesn't really explain it, right? But they haven't won one now for quite some time. The intense media glare, the fake news, the problems that it stirs up in your room, I'm starting to understand that. Where teams like the Florida Panthers can just go under the radar and nobody even knows what you're doing. And you can sneak up and bite somebody in the playoffs, you know. From Ryan O'Radio, WQEE Radio, he says, Merry Christmas to RP and crew. Same to you, big fella. And we are going to keep trucking along into 2024 on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM. I don't want to go down any more of the hockey road. We'll stop because it's supposed to be a football Friday. But if the NHL does expand and they're talking about going to 34 teams, it's got to be Atlanta number one. That's my number one place I want to go. I'm going to stop and other than Ryan Radio, do you want to tell me what your favorite Christmas movie is? Please. And your favorite Christmas carol. Jordan in Calgary says, hey, Rod, who are your playoff teams? Where is it here? Jordan also says, favorite Christmas song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now I got to stop for a second. I got to stay out of that and get back on point here. My favorite, who am I rooting for in the playoffs? Well, the Dallas Cowboys, obviously, and the Miami Dolphins. It's odd because I have quit listening to the radio here. I just got sick of the Dolphins talk. I'm not a Dolphins fan. It's too much. I was kind of becoming a Dolphins fan, then I just got sick of it. But, Darren, I will say this. On the national sports channel that I was listening to, Fox Sports Radio, they were talking about Mommy, I caught Mommy kissing Santa Claus. And there's two talk hosts. And the guy goes, Mom, keep it in your pants. Let's talk about that for a second. The kid's mom's a floozy, and he's singing about it. And nobody really had a problem with it.
Nobody had a problem.
No, just saying, you know, better times, better days. Here we go. Jim in Balgonie writes, he says, it's been a pleasure spending 2 hours every day in 2023 with you guys. Thanks again, and see you in 2024. Be safe, everyone. Thank you, Jim. Ron in Calgary says, Merry Christmas, Rod Squad. Great Christmas movie, 8-Bit Christmas. I've never heard of it. Nola Sanders in Calgary writes in. She says, favorite oldies Christmas carol is Silver Bells by Bing Crosby, which incidentally is Serena's song. I asked her in the break, and her favorite Christmas movie is also Christmas Story. And Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba says, Merry Christmas, Rod and Moose. I feel like this is our television Christmas card, live on the air on Game Plus and radio, WQEE, sending out a Christmas card to everybody. Wilf says, Merry Christmas, Rod and Moose. Favorite movie, Elf, which, by the way, is underrated. I mean, once Serena and I got together, she introduced my world to all these movies I'd never watched before. Elf with Will Ferrell. I kind of quite like it. Four Christmases. Big Vince Vaughn fan here. You've seen Four Christmases, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Hey?
Absolutely. For sure. And it's good.
When his mom is dating his high school friend, Jon Favreau, in the movie.
Right. Yes.
Imagine your best friend dating your mom, right? And Jon Favreau.
And you find out about it when you come home for Christmas.
Right. And then Jon Favreau, your mom is a sexual being. I'm sorry, what? I think about that all the time. I'm sorry, what? Brad Cameron. Where's Brad? He's in Saskatoon. He writes in and says, favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life in black and white. Jimmy Stewart, when he was young, good for the heart and soul. And he says, favorite Christmas carol, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And it's 1:11 Eastern. I'll point that out right now, 11:11 Mountain for those that observe. Visualize a positive outcome to whatever struggles you're having right now. I did.
Beautiful.
And it works out. And Moose did too. Hey, we're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal next segment. And then Justin Dunk's coming in the segment after that for all the latest football news. He'll have a take for sure, obviously, on Nathan Rourke. He'll be starting up a Patriots podcast soon. Justin Dunk. With Rourke leaving Jacksonville, how much does that suck? Darren, do you have your list in front of you? I said, Darren, be ready for this. CFL free agency, just because it's the last day of 2023. And for the hardcore, ardent CFL lovers, you might going to want to cover your ears here coming up, because I got something a little harsh that you're not going to like. But I said, of all the list of free agents, pick one per team, Darren, that you think is the most coveted per team of the 9 in the CFL, and then we'll come up with the most coveted free agent in the entire league. So you have yours? I didn't notice. Did you pull out a piece of paper, or do you remember off the top of your head?
I feel like I got my John Lynch notes here. This is how he would write them down on a piece of foolscap. So
yes, he would.
So I totally have my notes here, and I feel like John.
He'd write them down, and then he'd never look at them. So we'll see if you continue that tradition. Okay, and people, feel free to agree or disagree. I'm not going to be offended. Number 1 from the BC Lions, receiver Keon Hatcher. Seems like he's always doing great things whenever I look up. Keon Hatcher, number 1 free agent for the BC Lions. For the Edmonton Elks, Luchez Purifoy. And to be honest, a lot of their free agents are not at prime positions, if you will. There's some older guys there. But Luchez Purifoy, every time I watched the Elks, he was making plays like Shakespeare. In Calgary, I'm going to say Kadeem Carey. Maybe that's a history bias or something like that, but he is their top rusher. For me, it's Kadeem Carey. For the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Larry Dean, the lone all-star on that team. Every time I looked up, did he have like 1,000 tackles last year, Larry Dean? The problem is I went to go look at the CFL stats for a second.
Oops.
To try and support my argument here. You guys, if I can do one Christmas wish, can you get your frickin' stats figured out for 2024, for the love of God?
Bingo!
Like supposed to be a pro league, for God's sakes. Enough is enough. Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback Drew Brown. Everywhere I look, the buzz is that Drew Brown's the guy everybody wants to sign. And to be honest, if Zach Caleros does go down, you want a guy that can win games, and Drew Brown has proven to be that. So I'll say that for Winnipeg. In Hamilton, Dylan Wynn. We all know that it begins and ends on the line of trenches, the line of scrimmage, and Dylan Wynn is a disruptive force. For me, Dylan Wynn of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. For Toronto, the road goes through that offensive backfield. A.J. Willett is the number 1 free agent for Toronto. For Ottawa, Devontae Williams. Again, I tried to look up the stats. Rushing yards for Devontae Williams, and I might as well have, you know what, peed into the wind, as my mom would say. I would have accomplished just as much. And Montreal, I got Darnell Sankey because apparently he is like the kingmaker. You sign him and you win a championship. Well, not the Riders, but Arlington Renegades did in the XFL. The Montreal Alouettes did. So there's my list of 1 per team in the CFL. You? Go.
Very good. We are different on pretty much all of them. I can't believe it. Although I had Larry Dean written down for a second and Drew Brown. Okay, BC, it's Matthew Betts. He's a Canadian. Most outstanding defensive player, Matthew Betts for BC. Calgary, I had Micah Awe, just 29 years old, led the CFL in tackles. Got to re-sign Micah Awe. In Edmonton, A.C. Leonard coming off a career high in sacks. He's 31. They need some veterans around there to keep growing. So that's where I've got in Edmonton. And Sask, Sean Bain Jr., 1,100 yards, 28 years old, young up-and-coming star in Sean Bain. Hope he re-signs. In Ottawa, Justin Hardy, 1,000-yard receiver. And I think if Ottawa's going to get moving, they need some vets, 31 years old. So I think that's really important. Hamilton, Jameer Thurman, 5-year player in the league. I think he's really good. Linebacker Thurman. Montreal, I had Darnell Sankey. That's where we lined up at linebacker. We were the same on that one. 29 years old. I think I missed Winnipeg, and I had Dalton Schoen in Winnipeg ahead of Brady Oliveira and ahead of Drew Brown. I think, one of the most dynamic receivers, and he's just played 2 years. So long career left. Dalton, Sean. And I don't think I missed anybody. I think that, Toronto. In Toronto, I had offensive lineman Darius Sirocco. Is Canadian, 27.
Hey!
They gave up the fewest number of sacks in the league last year. I think they got to make Sirocco a priority.
Approved.
I thought about him, too. He was a former first-round pick of Hamilton, right? Just to answer the bell from WQEE, the key, Ryan O'Radio says his favorite Christmas song is Run, Run, Rudolph, Chuck Berry. That was in Home Alone, as Serena pointed out to me the other day. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, or whatever one it was in. And also he says his favorite movie is Christmas Vacation and Elf. So I said Elf was an underrated movie. Apparently it's not, because everybody's picking Elf. NFL Deal or No Deal when we come back after the break. And Justin Dunk coming up 2 segments from now on this Football Friday. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
A fabulous Football Friday continues. Our final hour of 2023 live is right here. But don't forget, next week, we got some fantastic programming lined up for you. Our annual World Juniors preview. It features Craig Button, Theron Fleury. Who else? Clark, Sammy Cosentino, James Gallo. That got him? Stephen Ellis, we're putting that one in there too. That's everybody. Let's bring in the Moose as we get ready to play NFL Deal or No Deal. I just feel like it's a very fun day. It's an odd day. Not really worlds colliding, but maybe they are. Max Ellis is a Winnipeg Blue Bombers fan, and he follows everything that we do. He's very active, liking our social media, and we appreciate him for that. He's written on Twitter, Darren, and says, I'm in Highland Beach, Florida, not far from you, and tuned in on YouTube Live today. Bro, it's like half a mile from here. I feel like doing some sort of Easter egg hunt or something like that. See if he can find us, Max. Thank you for being tuned in today on YouTube. Like literally half a mile. I parked my Jeep right along the A1A at Highland Beach to take those awesome photos. So thanks for tuning in, Max. I appreciate you. And you know our friend Michael Wynn.
Yes.
He is in Winnipeg at Ice Time Sports. He says his best Christmas tune is AC/DC's Mistress for Christmas.
LFG.
And his favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Vacation. And I know he's all fired up for the Boston Bruins and the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Which reminds me, by the way, who knows? That could be a Stanley Cup final. I'm not even joking. Like, you know, I saw somebody say, I think it was a USA Today article I was reading a couple weeks ago. They said, you think the NFL season's been fun to this point? Just wait. The games are really going to mean something now. And I'm like, oh my God, he's right. We got 2 potential Super Bowl previews tonight. And the thing is, again, because we've been through this, I think that you know, whether you've been with it with teams or even as a fan, if you lose, if you're the Cowboys and you lose here in Miami on Sunday, or you are the Ravens and you lose in San Fran on Christmas Day, I don't think you can get 2 down because you get another crack at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's big, but it ain't that big. You know? What do you think about those Super Bowl previews?
Yeah. When you're a team that's likely headed to the playoffs and that's pretty much secured, yeah, the losses don't sting as badly. But, you know, these kind of litmus tests, when you go up against good teams, and that's why I think the Cowboys getting shelled by Buffalo is disheartening to Cowboy fans, because it says, geez, maybe we're not as close or as good as we thought we were. If Baltimore loses a close one to San Francisco, not a big deal, because you know what? We'll get another crack at them. This isn't going to really eliminate us from the playoffs. But if they get blown out, now all of a sudden the fans like, maybe we're not a Super Bowl contender anymore. Maybe we're not that good. And you start second guessing yourself. And that's not very good.
I had a really good friend with the Vancouver Giants, and the historians watching right now will remember better than me. I can't remember the year that they went to the league final against the Medicine Hat Tigers, and they lost. It was 2004 or 2006. Somebody help me out. I want to say 06, but I'm probably wrong. But when the Vancouver Giants, and I knew that Vancouver was hosting the Memorial Cup that year. So they went to the league final and lost to Medicine Hat, and my friend with the Giants was so down, like really down. And I'm like, don't worry about it. That's not the series you needed to win. Those aren't the games you needed to win. I get it. But remember how this feels, and beat them in your house in the Memorial Cup final. That's exactly what they did. You know, and that's kind of what these games remind me of here in Week 16 for the NFL, which reminds me, it's time to play NFL Deal or No Deal for our exclusive betting partner, BetRegal. Sign up for free and get playing this weekend at BetRegal.ca. I give the point spreads as provided by the odds makers from BetRegal. Darren decides if he's going to take the bet or not, and then I tag along. So some Saturday games, Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. The Bengals are favored by 3. Cincy at Pittsburgh, AFC North battle. Deal or no deal?
Do you say the Steelers are favored by 3?
No, Cincinnati's favored by 3.
Okay. I'll take the deal. I'll take Cincy and the points.
I'm not. I think the Steelers are going to get their act together. I believe Mason Rudolph's starting. Even still, I think they'll win. Buffalo at the Los Angeles Chargers. How about the Bills Mafia? Bills favored by 12.5 at L.A. this weekend at Week 16. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I think there's got to be something to the coaching change in L.A. that at least they'll keep it close. But I just don't know.
No deal here. Your Tennessee Titans home to the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks favored by 3 in Music City. Deal or no deal?
I'll take that deal. The Titans are really struggling with what they're going to do at quarterback, and they're starting to audition players. I'll take Seattle.
Deal here, too. Indianapolis Colts, like what has gotten into them? I don't know, but it's working. They go into Atlanta. The Falcons have lost 2 in a row, and they hope not to make it 3. The Falcons are favored by 2.5 at home. Taylor Heineke at quarterback for the Dirty Birds. Atlanta by 2.5 at home over Indianapolis. Deal or no deal?
I gotta say, my gut is telling me deal, so I'm going to go with it because I think this is Atlanta saying this is your last kind of shot to wake up if you want a shot at the division.
You're good at this. I'm saying no deal. I think the Colts will roll. Sorry, Ryan O'Radio. The Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco rolling back the clock at Houston. Browns favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
Got a deal for me there, too. I think the Browns are trending in the right direction.
Deal here. And C.J. Stroud still in concussion protocol. Last we heard. The Green Bay Packers at Carolina. The Packers favored by 5. Deal or no deal?
Got a deal for me there, too. A lot of deals this week, but I'll take them over Carolina. I'll take anybody over Carolina.
No deal here. Panthers going to play spoiler this weekend for another week. Worst game of the week is Washington at the New York Jets. The Jets, if you can believe, are favored by 3. The Commanders have lost 5 in a row. Gotham Green by 3. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I'll go with Washington.
Yeah, me too. Lot of dysfunction there in New York. Detroit Lions at Minnesota. Lions favored by 3, and with a win, they clinch the NFC North. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal for me. With that on the line, I think the Lions will have their way with the Vikings. Sorry, Vikings fan.
Same here. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Battle of Florida. The Bucs are favored by 3. They've won 3 in a row. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, and I think Trevor Lawrence is in concussion protocol just as they lose Nathan Rourke. I'll take the deal, and I'll take Tampa.
Same here. Arizona Cardinals at the Chicago Bears. The Bears favored by 4 at Soldiers Field. Deal or no deal?
A deal for me there, too. I think Justin Fields is still trying to show everybody he's the quarterback of the future for Chicago.
Narrowest margin of the week. The Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. The Fins favored by 1. 4:25 Eastern kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I think your Cowboys will enjoy playing in South Florida, and I think they'll get back on track.
Okay, I'll go with you on that one because I'm too close to it. New England at Denver. The Broncos favored by 7. Deal or no deal?
No deal. The spread's too big for me. New England has the ability to play good defense and keep it close.
I'll take the deal. Sean Payton's got them rolling. And then Monday, Christmas Day, 3 of them. Las Vegas at Kansas City. The Chefs favored by 10. Deal or no deal?
Deal. I'll take the deal.
Deal here. New York Giants at Philadelphia. The Eagles are favored by 13.5. That's a largest spread of the week. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I think the spread's too big, but they need to find a way to get this losing streak snapped and get something going.
No deal from me. Tommy Cutlets is coming in to save the day. Right, Chris Sanford? And lastly, Baltimore at San Francisco, which many feel is the game of the week. The 49ers are favored by 5.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal. This is a potential Super Bowl preview. I think this will be a very, very entertaining close game.
There you go. That is our deal or no deal for Week 16 in the National Football League. And that's all I got. It is hot in this robe. I know none of you want to hear that. How's the temperature there in the sweatpants capital, by the way, since you're back?
You know what? The hoarfrost is out. There's not a lot of snow, just a little skiff, and it's about minus single digits. It's -3 or 4. Really mild, but it's okay. It's not 22 degrees, but it's okay.
Hang on. Let me call up the weather. For now, and I see no reason to change, I am still on the Celsius scale here. So Boca Raton, it's 22 degrees and cloudy, but thank God no wind. You know, one thing with you said the horror frost. You at least haven't fogged up the windows in your vehicle there. I'm a little surprised.
I know.
Mind you, it's not
right?
It's not frigidly cold. It's +1. That's not bad at all, right?
Yeah, that's not bad. You know, I don't even have the vehicle running. Like, I don't need to have the heat going. I'm good.
Hey, by the way, will you be watching any bowl games tonight? One game, the Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech versus the University of Central Florida. Both teams 6-6. It's funny because Syracuse was favored by 3 last night at the Boca Bowl here. Syracuse favored by 3 without their starting quarterback. I have no idea why, and they got motorboated 45-0. How much bowl football are you watching?
Just a little bit. I saw Marshall lose, and we were watching Chad Pennington's kid play, and I think Chad Pennington was on the call of that one on ESPN. Couldn't drop into the game last night, unfortunately, so we'll watch a little bit tonight and a little bit throughout the holidays. It's always good to have on.
How about that? Okay, you're done. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Moose. I'll see you next year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and Serena and everybody back there and watching, and Happy New Year.
3 Down Nation's Justin Dunk is coming in next. Get your questions in now. We are live across Canada and 31 U.S. states on the Game Plus television network, also WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name's Logan Stanko.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Always a good day to be talking ball on the RP Show, specifically Football Fridays. We do have a sports update coming up and our viewer takeover, so hang on. We have lots to do before we sign off and say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and all the rest. Let's bring in Three Down Nation's Justin Dunkett is the top periodical for Canadian football. He also hosts the Jaguars podcast. JD, happy holidays to you, my man. And if you don't mind, I just want to start on the National Football League. Big weekend, Week 16. Is there one specific game that has your interest more than the others?
Dude, it's got to be Niners-Ravens, man. A lot on the line there.
I get it. A Super Bowl preview for sure, but the Cowboys are at the Dolphins. The Jaguars are at the Buccaneers in the battle for Florida. So, I mean, it is a fun weekend of football, right? Are these legitimate Super Bowl previews in the two that we mentioned, the Baltimore Niners game and the Cowboys-Dolphins games?
Ooh, I think the Cowboys kind of feel like pretenders, especially after getting beat down by Buffalo last week. I do think the Baltimore-San Fran game is a potential Super Bowl preview, and there's this theory going around out there that the Super Bowl logo, if you look at the colors of it, might be foreshadowing that matchup, but a long way to go.
My guess is it's 2023. They might be able to change the colors on a dime. I know what you're saying with what the logo is, and hoping to be in Las Vegas for this NFL championship. Here's another one for you from my U.S. football friends, and I've been around them all week. High school football windups, the Boca Bowl last night. They're like, "Why do you guys get so excited about Nathan Rourke, a third-string quarterback that's never taken a snap, given all the great Canadians in the NFL that are playing?" And I said, well, it's just what we do. How would you answer that question?
It's a big deal. It's quarterback. I mean, with all due respect to all the other positions, and there are some ballers in the NFL right now that are Canadians. Rod, you've seen Javon Holland play a bunch of football there for the Miami Dolphins at a very high level. But the quarterback position is just different. And the fact that Canada has not had a real, true quarterback prospect in the NFL, I think pretty much you got to go back to Jesse Palmer when he was consistently on rosters down there, mainly with the New York Giants. That's why this is a big deal. People feel really attached to Nathan Rourke. He was born in Victoria, raised in Oakville, played part of his high school there in Oakville before going down to Alabama and kind of on this winding path to where he's gotten to now. So that's why it's a big deal, Roddy. And I can tell you, the traffic at 3downnation.com on every single thing that we post about Rourke warrants the kind of coverage that we've put out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, you guys were getting flamed for all your Johnny Manziel coverage. And again, what do? You got to fish where the fish are. People are excited about it. And I know that you're also, I think, personal friends with Nathan Rourke, too, which helps your side of it. What do you think this Patriots move means for him?
Definitely. And I've followed Nathan going way back to when he did not have one single NCAA Division I scholarship offer, like when he was going to Fort Scott Community College way back, because there was just something about this guy that I thought he was going to at least have a chance to make it big time. So in terms of this Patriots move, it's great from a financial perspective. It's going to guarantee him a year of service in the NFL. You have to be active for 6 games to get that. So it gives him that much closer to getting his NFL pension, which is 3 years of active service. So 6 games in a year gets you that. Ask Chris Strevler. He knows all about that because he secured his pension. Also, obviously tops him up this season in terms of him getting game checks, not the practice roster checks. He'll make $12,000 on the practice squad, but for the final 3 games of this season and for 3 games while he was in Jacksonville, he makes just over $41,000. So a little bit over or under, I should say, $30,000 difference. And it's an evaluation, I think, for him to go into the Patriots. Bill Belichick, some people thought, well, his comments about him weren't necessarily glowing, but Belichick doesn't really give glowing comments about anybody except for Lawrence Taylor. Just ask Tom Brady, and it's maybe part of the reason why he left there. So Rourke is going to have to earn any respect he's given from Belichick there in New England. But I think what this helps is proves that other teams, not just the Jaguars, view Rourke as a guy that has potential to be a starter down the line in this league.
Well, I read all your stuff, obviously, and I'd love to know who the source was that said Rourke will never be more than a backup, if I read that right. It's just like he's always fighting for validation, but that's also fine. I think we all are. But nothing's being handed to this kid, ever.
As it shouldn't be. I don't think that should be the case with anything, right? You got to work hard, and he's put in the work to go from a sub-60 passer at Ohio University to almost 80% completion percentage with the BC Lions. And what he's doing now, I want to shout out one guy who's been really critical for this rise behind Rourke, and I'm sure he would agree. That's Rob Williams, a movement coach out of BC, who has really reimagined the throwing motion, and a guy that I think is going to have a major impact on how quarterbacks are developed, just from a throwing mechanical perspective down the line. Rob Williams works with Rourke on a daily basis. The day that Rourke got to Foxborough was Monday night. He flew there. Obviously, it's a short turnaround, but he was on FaceTime with Rob Williams, which is what he does on a regular basis, working on his mechanics. So this kid is a worker. He has the right mentality, I think. Whether or not Belichick is going to be there in the long term or not, we'll find out in the offseason. But it would be a guy that Belichick would like because he puts his head down, doesn't say much, and goes to work.
What's your relationship with his little brother Curtis like? Were you surprised, A, that he entered the transfer portal, B, that he went to Indiana, and I guess C, because of all of that, his draft rights have been pushed back a year? What does that mean for all of it?
I definitely know Nathan more than Curtis, but I remember Nathan specifically telling me that Curtis was further along as a passer than he was at the same point. So it doesn't surprise me that bigger Power 5 conference schools were looking at Curtis Rourke. And I think it's smart to go to a school like Indiana where he feels like he's going to have a shot to play. That's most important because he's only got that 1 year of eligibility left, I believe. And the fact that you can now advance yourself in the mind of pro scouts, he's looking to get that NFL shot. So it's one thing to play at Ohio University, and Rourke certainly took that route. But the fact now that you're playing Big Ten football against Michigan and Ohio State, to get that kind of game film will really help boost his stock.
Okay, lastly, as we enter 2024, what are the biggest stories 3 Down will be following here throughout the Christmas holidays and into the new year?
The biggest stories now that all the coaching staffs and personnel, football operations staffs are set across the Canadian Football League has to be the quarterbacks. A lot of questions about Bo Levi Mitchell. Will he play? Won't he play? I expect him to be back with the Tiger Cats at a reduced rate. He's bought a home out there in the general area of Hamilton. So I think he's really committed to this team. And he did sign a 3-year contract. And then what happens with McLeod Bethel-Thompson? I think there is some legitimacy with him coming back to the CFL, but there is no doubt, Roddy, and you'll see it when our top stories of the year, most traffic stories of 2023 drop closer to New Year's Day, that Nathan Rourke is going to be a storyline to be continued even after the regular season is over, because now he's become an exclusive rights free agent. We'll see what happens with the Patriots, and that'll be something that we'll be following very closely.
Jim Barker just couldn't help himself last hour. He dropped that Nathan Rourke should consider coming back to the CFL. And I'm like, well, as a CFL guy, you're going to say that. But what do you think that, yeah. Okay, go. Please, give me your thoughts on that.
I understand where Jim's coming from because he's a CFL guy, like you said, but it would be not smart at all, to put it nicely, for Nathan Rourke to come back to the CFL right now. A lot of people online have said, well, he should be in the CFL and he should be playing. But if you're in the CFL and you're not in the NFL and you don't understand how it works and you haven't proven yourself with preseason film and have that opportunity to maybe get a shot in game like Chris Strevler got in Arizona. Yes, it didn't necessarily go well when he was pressed into action there against the Los Angeles Rams, but you're right there. That's why Rourke should not leave. He's going to make just under $400,000 USD this season. Okay. You do the math on that in terms of the currency exchange. It's over $500,000 Canadian. So he makes that money while earning trust and respect from coaches and personnel evaluators around the NFL. And he's getting that much closer to potentially getting in regular season game action and then get that big fat paycheck that comes along with even being a really competent backup. Roddy, you know how much some of these backups can make in the NFL and have long careers. So I understand people wanting to see him play. It would be great. It would definitely boost the CFL. But from his career and financial perspective, he is trying to print his own lottery ticket here. Could he make millions playing in the CFL for the next decade? Yes, but he wouldn't be making millions per season. He could be doing that in the NFL if he continues on this trajectory. So stay in the NFL, which is what he's going to do, live out this dream as long as he possibly can.
Thank you for the explanation, Justin. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thanks for all you do and all you do for us. Man, have a good one.
Happy holidays, buddy. Thanks for all you do for us as well, pushing the show. We appreciate the mutual relationship and enjoy it down there in sunny Florida.
Thanks, pal. Justin Dunk, Canada's #1 CFL and football source, 3downnation.com. He is the czar of it. We'll be right back with overtime after this timeout. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
This is it, everybody. Can you believe winding up 2023 right now with our final live segment? Overtime is brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. 28th Street Northeast. Big hockey fans over there. Obviously, they've made a dream out of it, if you will. Take the gang down there. Tell them Rod sent you over these Christmas holidays. Give us a shot, as they say. Overtime Hockey Lanes, just a slap shot away from the old Crossroads Flea Market. Merry Christmas, Randy and Michelle, and thank you for your support of this show. Fun to be involved with you. 902-518-3033 is the number to text us here for Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. You can ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. Order online, and you can also find them in grocery retailers as well. Hey, Mark. Thank you, Mark Schendel, for the great comment. He is in Yorkton. And he writes in here and says, "Hi, Rod." He says, he says, "We had you here for football night in Saskatchewan." No, you didn't. That's the one football event in Saskatchewan that I've never done. So I would love to be part of it in 2024 or moving forward, Mark. But I have never been to a football night in Saskatchewan and Yorkton. But he says, talking football, what are your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey to be NFL MVP? I was just going to say he should be NFL MVP. He probably won't be. The guy that might be is the guy that he lines up beside Brock Purdy. But I wonder if there would be a Brock Purdy with not for Christian McCaffrey scoring 3 touchdowns a game. That's what I think. He says, I like his odds. He says, hot take here on December 22nd. Big Lou and the New York Islanders win Lord Stanley this year. Yeah, heard it here first. Literally, that is the first place I've ever heard it. And the only place that I've ever heard it. The Islanders will win the Stanley Cup. I'll tell you what, I watched them here in Sunrise, and the hockey people I was sitting with said, how are they playing so well? How are they in a playoff spot? They've got nobody. Not nobody per se. Bo Horvat is not nobody. But you know what I mean. Sorokin is not nobody. But it's not a team full of stars. Lane Lambert. Vane Lambert, pride of Swift Currents, biggest reason why. Brian in Beausejour, Manitoba writes in regarding our trip to New Orleans that we're embarking on in 4 minutes. He says, is the Golden Girl Jeep the mode of transport to NOLA? No, I sold Big Bird. Oh, Goldie here? No. Sold my other Jeep in Canada. This one here? No. We're taking the Caddy. We're driving in style. Sports update, 3 Canadian NHL teams are at action tonight. The Edmonton Oilers take on the Rangers in New York. Could get ugly for the Oil. They snapped a 3-game losing streak last night with a 6-3 win over the New Jersey Devils. Montreal Canadiens take on the Blackhawks in Chicago. It's in Chicago, right, Mike Lee? And the Winnipeg Jets host the Boston Bruins in what we feel might be a Stanley Cup final. Okay, I'm saying that. I'm the only one. It'll be fun to follow. Toronto Raptors take on the Philadelphia 76ers tonight after losing by 9 to the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday. The matchup comes after Joel Embiid scored 51 points in Philadelphia's 127-113 victory over Minnesota. Raptors 0-7 against Atlantic Division teams. Facing Nick Nurse tonight, their former coach that they fired April 21st, which reminds me, in our best of top stories of the year, best interviews, that all airs next week. Our World Junior special with Craig Button, Theron Fleury, Sam Cosentino, James Gallo, and Daily Faceoff Stephen Ellis. We have fantastic programming lined up for you next week, so tune in every day, noon to 2 Eastern and 5 to 7 Eastern p.m. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas. Get out this weekend and check out Silent Night from legendary director John Woo. Silent Night redefines the action genre with visceral, thrill-a-minute storytelling. And also, the sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company in Calgary, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. Last minute of play. I heard that, Jordan, in hour one. That was you? Oh, I thought I heard an echo in the room. I guess it was just me. Glenn in Medicine Hat. He says, Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll miss your show these next few days, RP. It's the daily elevator music in my office at the house. Sorry, Glenn. Put on a replay, I guess. A golf guy and a hockey guy and a media guy all in Medicine Hat. Medicine Hat, you're lucky to have him. John Ohm says Trevor Harris going to be 38 when training camp breaks open. That's old. Rant over. He's the oldest quarterback in the CFL. I looked it up this morning. Hey, Jeff the Stamps fan says, a Christmas goodbye. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. All the Stamps fans, the Calgarians, can't wait to get back there, too. We'll see you next year, everybody. Be safe. Merry ho-ho.
Who has more fun than us?